everyone, and welcome to episode 31 of Business is Pleasure.
Okay.
Sorry. Whew. I decided to start it off this week because John over here always starts it off, so it's my game today.
Okay.
So again, like I said, I'm Colette. I'm co-owner of the Clarendon Trading Company. This is the handsome Jonelle joining us today as well.
And I'll pay you later. Thank you for that.
Okay, so I usually start off, the how was your week, but let's flip it up a little bit this week. So, Jonelle, how was your week? What did you do this week?
What did I really do this week? My week was cool. So it's been about 2 months since I quit my job and trying to do this whole entrepreneurial thing. And for the most part, it's been going really well. Thank you. Most part, it's been going really well. We've made a couple changes that we've seen that have helped the business grow in the right direction, so we're really happy about that. But this last week was cool. We went to one of our shows, which was called CAFCAD, and it was more or less disappointing because we think there are all these other variables why the outcome wasn't as good. There was not as much traffic as there was at the previous one. That could have been caused by the weather. That could have been caused by lack of promotions. But overall, we tried to be as consistent as possible, giving out cards, talking to people, engaging, which is always a good part.
And with that being said, a bad event for us isn't necessarily a bad event in general. There's a lot of people that came out. It's just it can be a little bit difficult for us at times when our actual demographic isn't there.
Yeah, and it's so specific.
Yeah,
it's
we have a fairly specific demographic that, does wonders on the mysterious world of the internet, because you can just tap into everyone and their friend and their sister and their auntie and their brother and their cousin.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking about an event where it's it's kind of a specific target audience that sees the promotions or is interested in going to that particular event, coupled with the fact that it wasn't downtown, it was kind of in
East York almost,
East York type area, not super accessible by transit, which is what a lot of our demographic would use. So that kind of factors into it. But overall, it was a good event, I'm sure, for a lot of the other vendors, but for us it was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, but it's crazy though, because when we went to it last year around the same time, it worked out so well. It was amazing, And I remember overhearing them talking about how they had Facebook groups and they're actually doing advertising through Facebooks. So I'm not sure what changed now, and I think with the difficulty of actually getting there and also with the weather, people were just
It was such a rainy day.
Yeah.
It was a bad day.
But overall, they said they had over 1,000 people in attendance. So
yeah, so it was a good event.
Yeah. And we didn't lose money.
No, we didn't.
We're just really greedy and unsatisfied.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So it's we at the end of the day we have nothing really to complain about.
No.
But it's always nice to meet the benchmark that you were trying to strive for. So
or our expected benchmark, because we do events pretty frequently now, right? So we kind of have an understanding of what we're supposed to be getting, generally what we can expect from events. So when we come kind of below that, and it's a little bit disappointing.
And plus, I'm doing this full time now. I got bills to pay. I got bills to pay. But overall, yeah, like I said before, we're consistent. Kept handing out cards. Was able to. What's crazy too? The good thing about doing a lot of events too, because it's content that we're able to share with our audience. And sometimes we don't take that into consideration. It's there are all these other things around the event, but then it's it brings value to our clientele because it's entertaining to them, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's entertaining, and secondly, we're meeting new people. We're talking with people, communicating with people. People are seeing our faces again. They're seeing our logo again. All of that matters in the long run. So
no, 100%.
It's never a bad thing.
Never ever a bad thing. Okay, cool. So did you want to continue being the moderator for this
No,
whole thing?
I like it when you're the moderator. I just
was
let me dabble in it.
It's
take you some time,
It's practice. It's episode 31 and I'm still not good at it, right? So I'm gonna keep trying. One thing that I've really realized, especially in terms of our growth over the last 2 months, was our use of Instagram ads and how beneficial those have been. You know what I mean? Before, our reach was organic. But I think a lot of the times, the algorithms don't necessarily correlate with the organic reach. So for us, we are not forced, but in terms of business, you have to be creative. And one method we thought of was hey, let's start doing ads and seeing how they work. Well, have you noticed any major changes since we started doing the ads?
Oh yeah, even if you just look at some of our like pictures on Instagram, for example, that were part of like a paid ad or promotion, the number of likes is like almost like it's just like night and day. Like it's a complete difference, which like is nice, but then it also makes you feel like, okay, like the people that I am reaching through these paid ads, like, are they our ideal customer? Like, are they our target market? Like, I know, like, when you do the promotions, you kind of narrow our demographics, but are they just, like, liking the picture and scrolling on? Or are they liking the picture and, like, you know, clicking on our actual page, watching our podcast, watching, like, going on our website, like, that sorts of stuff? Whereas, like, with the organic likes, even though it's a lot less, I feel like those people are a little bit more either involved in like the community that we're in, or at least like intrigued by the product and intrigued to maybe possibly be a customer at some point. Whereas like with the paid ads, it's like I don't even know.
And that's what I think one of the good thing about like the people at Facebook and Instagram is that they will allow you to really break it down and be like, hey, well, you can pick your demographic and you can pick what cities you want ads to run in, or you can allow us to do that for you. Where people who already follow us, that's the people they're going to promote the ads to. So I think it's a bit of a combination of course, like I'm sure they're not going to be perfect. It's not going to pick every single person that should be following us, but I'm sure like 7 out of 10 times they're going to have the right people engaging with the ad and also exposing to those people.
I think like overall it's a good thing. Because like generally speaking, you're allowing your product and your page to be seen by a wider variety of people, and like just per capita, like a small percentage, even if that is gonna be a customer at some point. So like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely a good thing either way that you look at it. It's just interesting.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things about this too is that like we have different types of ads, right? So like we have one ad where it's predominantly trying to showcase like the guy's clothing that we have, you know. So it's a guy in the picture. Then we have a woman's one that's selling to them as well. But then it's good too because then we have 2 other video ads that are more so used for actually trying to bring value to people. So checking out our IGTV, checking out our podcast, so they can like learn information that's informative as well too, right? And of course I've noticed that the videos have way more views simply because like they're videos and they keep track of that. So I think maybe going forth we can also find ways to do like a selling ad, but that's a video, not a photo.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
You know, and I think that's the best way we're really going to figure all this out, right? Like trial and error.
That's what we do for everything.
You know what I mean? Because there are a couple of ads where like they didn't do as well as others, and we're like, okay, well I'm not going to focus my money on this one. Let me focus money on this one. But one thing that I was reading through one of the Facebook system when they were talking about ads is that like you don't always want to run the same exact ad because you might get like viewer fatigue. They constantly see your ad, they're like, oh my gosh, like this ad again. Exactly. So that's why it's like every week I try to like rotate between a couple, and also like it doesn't hurt, let's create some new ones too.
Of course,
like,
you can never go wrong with more ads. So.
Yeah, exactly. And also like by creating different ads, we can pump them out to different markets, and hopefully that we can realize, okay, well, this is the best market for us, this is the best market for us, or whatever, you know. But it's kind of crazy because like when I was watching just a tutorial on how to run ads, the guy like he put it so concise, and he's like, you're paying for information, you're paying to try and figure out what's gonna work, what's not gonna work.
Yeah, because they give you like a whole breakdown of like your demographics, your like what's it called, the clicks per
the CPM, clicks per whatever, CPMs or whatever.
Yeah, like the clip, I don't know what it is, but they like tell you how much you paid per click, how many people clicked on this like particular thing, how many people liked it, the demographics, male, female, their age demographics, like all that sorts of stuff.
And it's good too, right? And like it's kind of funny because like I think the ads were a bit easier for us to implement because like we almost already knew our demographic, which was between the ages of 12 to like 25. And when you take a look at our statistics, those are the people that are clicking our ads the most. Yeah. So like, you know, it's like, okay, well, it kind of reinforces the idea like, okay, well, that's our demographic, we need to stick to it. But one thing I really want to try and do in terms of like advertising is just how like, what other platforms can we advertise on?
I was just gonna ask that because even like for example on Carousel, like Carousel has been kind of like up and down in the last little bit, but like sometimes I'll see like you know when they have like featured collections at the top, when they have featured collections. Yeah. So when you go on Carousel, it'll be like pre-loved collection or like fall collection or winter collection. It's like how do we like get into that, or how do we become like featured as like the sellers as part of that? So that's one of the things that I want to look into to see if we can like increase the amount that we sell through like certain apps and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that with some apps they do provide advertising tools, like Kijiji does with their ad market.
Yeah.
Letgo does as well with theirs as well. But for us, what I've realized that works the best apps for us are the ones that aren't meetups. Like, you know what I mean? Like the bumps, the
but
grails,
we also
the
haven't
eBay.
really tried as much as we probably should have, at least in the last little bit. I paid out on Kijiji or Letgo. To me, like, it's just generally kind of off-putting because they seem so expensive. Like for Kijiji, it's like bump your ad for like $250.
It's like $7.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like $7.
Okay, maybe it's Letgo I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think it's Letgo's like $2 or whatever.
Yeah, Letgo's like $2 something. I don't know about Kijiji. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's like if I'm posting an item for $25 and you're taking $2 for one thing just to promote that one thing, it's kind of like, but then it's like inadvertently it may promote other things because if more people are seeing that, they may be like, oh, what else does this person have on their page, or they may click on the link to our website. Like I guess like there's more value in it than it seems.
Or what we should do as well, maybe just use the ads for our higher priced items, right? Because we can also, the good thing about a majority of those apps, they show how much people have actually previewed the item. So if we realize like, hey, this item's only $25, only had 4 previews, let's not promote that one. But this one is worth $400 and has already had like 80 previews. Yeah, let's bump that one, you know. And the $2,
it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that bad of an expense, right?
Yeah.
So something that I think we should definitely consider. And to be honest with you, it's just like, I think it's like a bit of fear that's holding us back about it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we're losing $5.
It's not that big of a deal.
Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's annoying, but it's like, remember, we're paying for the information.
Yeah.
We're paying for the information. And that's one thing that we got to start like getting in tune with and understand. In terms of business, we're not paying for it to be right. We're paying for the information
To figure out how to make it right.
Exactly. Or even the information may be like, hey, like you're wasting your time promoting on this on this app, sorry. So don't.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's definitely a part of it. But one thing because the major thing about ads is either that we're trying to like build our brand awareness, trying to entice people to watch our content, or to like sell them something, right? But it's kind of cool how we've actually created like inadvertent selling methods that don't even cost ads or anything, right?
Yeah.
For instance, it's like when I go thrifting, I'm on my Instagram, and I'm literally just talking about the item, like what year it was from, the embroidery, the structure of it, you know? And then someone will message us after and be like, hey, how much is that? What size is that? You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes we forget. It's like we don't always have to sell stuff to sell stuff.
You know what's crazy? You know what I just thought back to? Do you remember when we first started doing like Clarendon Co. and we were in like maybe like the end of like the first year, and then we started meeting all those people and they were like, yeah, we sell through Instagram. We were like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
We were so confused.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
We were like, how do you sell on Instagram?
Like, you can do that?
Yeah, and now it's like, now that we've been doing it so like organically and just like regularly for so long now, we didn't even realize that like that's what we've been doing.
But not the craziest thing too is that like that's our market. Our market is like, I think we wouldn't sell as much as Instagram if we were telling people, hey, click this app, click this link and then go to our website.
Oh no,
because we're directly speaking to them, you know what I mean?
Even the apps, like it goes to show, like even like we use like what, like 7-8 apps.
Yeah.
So even the apps, the ones that you pay directly through the app to PayPal or through PayPal or whatever, it's our sales are so much higher than the apps where it's like you talk about the item, then it's like, okay, how do I pay? And then it's like either
we gotta meet up.
Yeah, it's like either we meet up or you can e-transfer, and then people are always iffy about the e-transfer because they think you're gonna just like run away with their money. Understandably so.
Yeah, and that's
they
part
think
of
you're
business.
they just think you're gonna run away with your money. So it's like people like seeing the product, talking about the product, being able to view the product, and being able to pay and buy right there. They don't want to have to go somewhere else or meet up or do an e-transfer. It's just too complicated. They want to look,
100%.
buy, and get it shipped.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and I think like when you ever force the client to do one extra step,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
one reason for them to be like, yeah, I'm not interested anymore. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
people can be so finicky sometimes. Like,
Oh my God.
if you like, you know what I mean. Like sometimes I'm like, do you even want this? Like, why?
Like, why are you messaging me?
Yeah, like
what? Like,
like
what's
people,
going on here?
people can be so finicky. So if you have to inconvenience them even in the slightest bit, it's like they're so quick to be like, yeah, I'm not messaging you back.
And that's one thing for us what we have to always understand is like, what's the easiest method for the customer to get this item, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's not gonna be the easiest thing for us. Maybe we'll have to drive an extra 10 minutes. Maybe we'll have to ship it and we're only making $5 off the item, you know? But like, what's the easiest process for the customer, you know? And it goes back to us talking about like customer service, you know? Because like in the vintage realm, essentially everyone sells the same product, you know what I mean? Of course, there's some guys that have more or less than others, but essentially everyone sells the same product. So it's like, what are we doing as a business to ensure that our clients are constantly going to be getting back to us, you know?
And to like set ourselves apart, you know? Like, and I think like for myself personally, like I always like, especially when I'm at events, I always take it back to like when I'm in a store at like the mall. I can't remember the last time I went to the mall, but like when I'm in a store at the mall, right? And like let's say I'm shopping, if I walk into the store and like somebody doesn't acknowledge me or like say hi or nothing or say like, oh, like do you need any help with anything? Like there's a higher chance that I'm probably not gonna buy anything.
100%.
Like some people are not like that, some people are different, but it's like I've walked into stores that are like ghost, like completely empty. There's not one person in there. The person at the cash will like look at you, make eye contact, and look away.
It's like you guys don't want any money.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like you guys don't want any money.
I feel like especially at events and even like online when you're talking to people, like people are choosing to spend their hard-earned money with you. So like,
respect it, man.
So like
respect
the least you can do is like respect their time and like respect them in general. Like talk to them with respect. Like communicate with them in like a cordial and proper manner. If they message you, like respond to them right away. Like don't wait an hour to respond to them. You know what I mean? Like just show them respect, because at the end of the day, they're a valued customer, and without them, like our business doesn't survive.
Exactly.
So like
and that's why it's good with all these inadvertent selling methods. Why like I think our business is starting to thrive, because like we're respecting them by giving them content that's relevant to them, you know?
Yeah, and not expecting anything in return.
Exactly.
Like we're not like, oh, pay $2 to access this information. We're like, here's the information. Like hopefully it's useful to you.
You know what I mean?
We don't really know, but we hope it is.
Yeah.
And if you plan end up being a customer, that's great. If not, like that wasn't really the intention.
You know? So like it's cool that we have the drop where we're literally just like talking about the clothing and like talking about our favorite pieces, you know what I mean? Something that we enjoy. Then we have our podcast where we're like literally talking about our relationship. Well,
I'm gonna be having my segment. Stay tuned.
Comment, guys. So then, like, you know, then of course you're gonna be having your content that's gonna speak to a particular audience, and we also have what's that, hidden gems as well too, right? So we have all these pieces of content that we're creating,
and we have our articles
that literally have nothing to do with selling.
No.
Have nothing to do with selling. You know what I mean? So I think that's always important. It's like, yo, we want to make sure you guys are either informed, entertained, or just constantly engaging with everyone, you know what I mean? Because only way our business is gonna grow. Like I was saying, everyone sells the same product, and the only way we can really differentiate ourselves is by doing different shit. Like, you know, I don't want you to come to our page and you're only like, the only reason you're there is to like buy something. Yeah. Like, you know, like we want to give you guys some value as well too, right?
Because and it's also just more opportunities to draw someone to the page, right? Like imagine like if you're only going on, like let's picture like, what's an example of this? Let's picture a store. Okay, you're more likely to frequent a department store more often that has clothing and like drugs and like pharmaceuticals and groceries and chicken and all that sort of stuff. You're gonna go there more often than you would say like a store that just has clothing.
So I'll give
I'm not done my analogy. So like what we're doing with our business is kind of similar to that, you know? We're giving
not necessarily.
Listen, I'm not done. Don't make me like.
You have 3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Relax. So we're giving people a number of different reasons to visit our page, to come to our store, because there's so many different things that cater to so many different people. There's clothing, there's content and like articles and about history and about like how to do certain things for your business, or there's just like the drop where we're releasing like new products and talking about cool stuff that people may be interested. So it's just a lot of different opportunities for people to come for different reasons.
Okay, the only reason why I'm a bit thrown off by your analogy is only because like all those things are still selling to people. Like for instance, like the way I see it is like McDonald's, right? Like you can either go there for food, or like a lot of the times kids would go there to play in the playground. You know what I mean? The playground has nothing to do with food. You're not being sold anything, but you're being entertained by the playground, right?
Okay, fair.
Like, you know, so like that's really cool as well too, right? But I think like we're gonna be going into that department aspect as well too, right? Because we're trying to expand into like the women's line, a guy's line, and also we're trying to figure out a system that's best for Clarendon Co. So I think eventually, like, yeah, we're trying to be like a super mega Walmart, McDonald's, or whatever the case may be, you know?
Okay, I'm annoyed.
Okay. One thing that I think that's like really thrown us off over the last maybe like year or so was eBay. We knew like a lot of vintage companies that were like so good at the eBay, like yo, eBay is the best, yo, we get all our sales from eBay. But for us, like a year ago, it did not work at all. Why do you think that was?
Well, like one of the reasons why it wasn't working is because we were in the very, very early stages of our business and we had no money. So we were
cheap.
we were cheap. And like we didn't discover so many like business hacks yet, like chit chat and like really, really cheap shipping and stuff like that. So we're using the good old Canada Post, which is not that good if you know.
But it is old.
Yeah, if you know Canada Post. So we would like have stuff on eBay, and eBay, as you probably know, has like a very huge like international reach. So like a lot of times when we post stuff on eBay, it's selling like New Zealand and Switzerland and England and all these faraway places that Canada Post literally charges like $50 with tracking to ship to, when our thing is posted for like $55, right?
Yeah.
So it was a little bit difficult for us. So we would try to get around it because we didn't know any other way to ship products. So we would just be like, okay, like we'll ship it. We'll like take a picture of the package when it goes out, like send that to the person as like a proof that it went out, and that will be our tracking.
But how is it that a tracked item is like $50 and an untracked item is like $25?
I don't know.
Like it's that much?
So yeah. So anyways, we were sending out packages without tracking, and then I don't know what happened. Some packages apparently got lost, whereas other packages people would get them because I'm sure they got them. They'd get them and then they'd say to eBay, oh, we never received a tracking, we didn't get the thing.
But which was our fault?
This is our fault because we were trying to save money on shipping, so we didn't get the tracking. So we didn't really have any proof to say that like they did get the package. So it was their word against ours, and eBay always sides on the side of the buyer. So they would get a refund. So not only would we lose the cost that we paid to ship, which was like $30 sometimes, they'd also get a refund of the product.
And
get to keep the product. Yeah.
Oh my
so it was pretty bad. So after like a couple months of that, we were like, yeah, no, we just need to like stop posting on eBay.
Because we didn't have an alternative or anything or any way to get around that, right?
Yeah, and then in the past, what did you say, like maybe like 2 months ago?
Yeah, I think like 2 months ago we sat down. We're like, honestly, like, the problem with eBay before was that the items weren't tracked, and like but there's a huge vintage community on there, and there's a huge used community on there as well too, right? So like, let's give it another shot. And honestly, it's been like, I'd say the top 3 of our selling apps, and it's been working really, really well so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I think it's important to always try and go back to things that weren't working before if you have a better method now,
Yeah.
And before our method wasn't the best, so now it's like, okay, like, well, there's no excuse now, and like tracking's cheaper. Plus, we have way more products that we can place online as well too, right? So like,
and like better products, so
exactly,
that are priced like a little bit more competitively and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And I think it's just really important to like revisit things. Like there may be something that worked really, really great when you first started your business, and then like a couple of years later you look back and it's not working as great as it used to, or vice versa. Like I think it's really important to reassess things for the situation that you're in currently, and then go from there, because like there's going to be a time when like maybe eBay isn't working anymore for us, or like maybe like our other really great selling apps aren't working anymore for us as well. And like I think that's something that we're constantly keeping an eye on. We're constantly like moving forward with it, but I think it's really important to like just always have that in mind,
and I think it's good too. Sometimes I see myself kind of like losing touch, and it's like we're trying to stay current, and we're only doing that by like reading, by learning, by actually being practitioners and trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like with myself, it's just that like, oh, I don't want to read this article about marketing. Like, I feel like I know everything already. I just need to do IG and Facebook, and I'll be fine. But maybe there's a brand new method that we can implement that can like make our business even so much better,
Yeah.
So I think like the constant learning and having the humility to learn is what's really, really important.
And understanding that like the world literally changes every second of the day.
God.
So like something that worked yesterday may not even work today. So it's like that's something to always keep in mind too. It can be frustrating at times, but it's just like the world that we live in. Like it's so fast paced, it's so fast changing that like you kind of always need to keep up to date with all the changes that happen on a regular basis.
And it's crazy too, because like even within saying that, it's like sometimes it gets a bit overwhelming, right? Because you're like, oh my god, like this event sucks, so now we gotta find a new event. Like, oh, this app sucks, now we gotta find a new app. And it's like it's like that chase. Like, you know, sometimes you're always on that chase. You know what I
That's
mean?
kind of like the fun part too.
That's the best part, right? And if you're not able to actually enjoy that, even of course, like it's impossible to enjoy everything every single time, you know.
No.
But if you enjoy it a majority of the time, you almost turn the business into a sport. And that's what I always like, you know, I like that hunt, that trying to figure it out, like, oh fuck, this isn't working, like, yo, what can we do now?
I feel like life is a sport though.
Yeah, but like
literally life is like a game that you're always trying to like win.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna have all your best days all the time, but like each day is like a day to conquer.
No, 100%. But like, I feel like even with you and I, it's like, okay, well, we've gotten this championship. What's the next championship? What's the next sport now? So we can conquer that. You know what I mean?
But with that being said, I also think it's really important for us to celebrate our successes.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
like I feel like it's easy to get caught up in like the next thing. Like you and I have like met like certain like financial benchmarks, and then the second we meet it, it's like, okay, what's next? What's next? Like even before we meet it, we're like, oh, it looks like we're gonna pass that. Okay, what's next? You know?
Yeah.
It's like always like we're always like one upping ourselves, which is good. Like it's part of the reason why we're here right now. It's part of the reason why we're where we are. But at the same time, like it gets to a point where like you feel like you're in a constant rat race with yourself. And I think like we need to like ensure that we do have those moments to celebrate.
And you enjoy yourself.
And you
like,
enjoy the process and the journey of like getting that goal, and understanding that like the process of getting that goal is something that should also be enjoyed.
It's kind of crazy. Like the process in getting that goal is the championship essentially.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because like no matter what, the process is going to be there, but the championship might never come, you know?
Yeah.
So like when you're able to look at the actual process and be okay, well, this worked well, this didn't work so well, what can we fine tune, what can we re-engineer to make sure we do get it next time, you know? And you're right, I think sometimes like we kind of get caught up in our own heads. We're like, oh man, like you know, like this is what we want to do and this is what it is, and then we're just like jumping from one thing to the next to the next to the next to the next. So I think it's always important for us to just revisit shit, you know? Yeah. Okay, so before we jump on out of here, any last things you maybe want to hit up, you want to say?
I just realized it's October 31st. Happy Halloween.
That's my 1950s monster.
Can you cut that part out?
No, we're not cutting that part out. That was the best part.
That was really bad.
You're a hater.
That was horrible.
Happy Halloween. Don't do that, babe. Don't do that, babe. Don't. That's what we're doing now. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Business is Pleasure. Until next time, peace. And remember to like and share so we know that you care.